Hi, I think we've started. Welcome to another live stream. And yes, tonight I have decided to do a mountain meditation, not as explicitly guided as the one that I did on the live stream before. And I wanted to connect it into a theme that we've been exploring in the drop-ins at St Catherine's Village Hall over the last couple of months. And this is a theme of change and impermanence that we can notice in our experience. I mean, obviously, it's not that difficult to notice impermanence and change, but something in us often resists that, depending on what the nature of that impermanence or change is. So the mountain is quite a good symbol to link into of stability in the midst of all this change and impermanence that's going on around us in our lives. So I thought that's what we could practice with. So it will be fairly, as I say, just the spirit of that rather than a detailed kind of practice around visualizing a mountain, etc. There will be some elements of that. So I'll leave it up to you as well to choose how much to dive into that. You know, you might prefer to rest more in the sense of just having that sense of stability and groundedness that the image of the mountain kind of affords us, or you might like to just let go into sensing into that experience of mountain in whatever way you would like to do as we go along. So yes, I think the mountain as well can help us to kind of investigate what's deeper down in our experience, perhaps, or it offers that opportunity to do so anyway. There's all the passing thoughts and feelings and situations and impulses that we experience moment by moment, day by day. But underneath that, there's a kind of deeper, kind of more, something that's a little bit more fundamental, if you like, and perhaps has more of the sense of the mountain in its core, you know, the deeper values and emotions that are contained within us. So we'll begin, and I'll guide us through it, and hopefully it will make sense to you as we practice. So it'll be about 20 minutes in total for this practice. That's what I'm aiming for anyway. Might be slightly shorter, we'll see. So beginning by taking your seat purposefully for this practice of being the mountain. So that can be either in a chair or sitting on stools or a cushion, and just coming to your posture. I think many of you will know, will be able to find your own way into your posture, but for anyone who's listening who's less familiar, we can sit in a chair with our back slightly away from the back of the chair if possible. It's perfectly all right to rest your back though if you have any issues with sitting upright at this moment. Or you can sit on meditation cushions or a stool. So cross-legged on a cushion, or kneeling astride a cushion or a stool. And sitting with our spine gently curving upwards as if the crown of the head is very gently being drawn up towards the ceiling, towards the sky. And what might help with this is just to very slightly tuck the chin in, not in an exaggerated way, just gently, which naturally lengthens the back of the neck and helps to sort of give a sense of stretch and uplift in the spine. We can soften in the face, release in the shoulders. We can place the hands wherever feels comfortable, hands on the thighs or in the lap, or even resting on a cushion on your lap, if that's more comfortable. And just finding your center point, so maybe shifting a little bit, swaying a little bit from side to side, backwards and forwards, just to find that kind of perfect central spot, or as best as we can do in this moment. And having set up our posture, I'd now like to suggest that as a starting point, we normally talk about taking our attention down to the feet or whatever we're, wherever in the body we're most in contact with the floor. But what I'd like to suggest now is just for you to find in your own physical experience where you feel most grounded and stable in this moment. So that might be in the hips, in the buttocks, sitting on your chair or your cushions or stool. It might be in the legs. It might be somewhere else. It might be in the shoulders or the hands resting. So just checking in, where do you sense mostly that feeling of stability and weightiness, if you like, your sort of plumb weight. And just exploring that sensation, just entering into it with your awareness, with your attention. And then around that, becoming aware of the rest of the body, the lower body, feet, legs, hips, buttocks, and the upper body, the arms, hands, neck, head, and the shoulders. And then having a sort of 360-degree awareness of the body. Often we might find that we mainly focus perhaps in the frontal plane of the body, the forward-facing aspect of the body, the face, the chest, belly, front of the legs. So perhaps taking our attention around to the back of the body, back of the head, the spine, shoulder blades, buttocks, backs of the legs, backs of the arms, and hands. And also the sides. The sides of the ribs, sides of the neck, the head, the hips and the legs, and the feet. inner and outer. So perhaps we can already begin to link into the sense of that mass and stability of the mountain as we sit here. And bringing our focus of attention now to the breath. So we're not an inert kind of a mountain, we're living, breathing, very much alive. So becoming aware of the inward movement of the breath, filling up, expanding, vivifying, and the outward movement of the breath, releasing, letting go. So it's okay just to stay with this experience even of the breath and the body, the breathing body, breathing mountain. But if we like, we can elaborate on this by actually visualizing ourselves as a mountain. So imagining a mountain, the mountain that we might be today. Whether we're tired or energetic, excited or dispirited. The outside of the mountain perhaps might reflect that. The weather around the mountain. Whether it's cloudy, stormy, a peaceful sunset, or a star-studded night sky. Just having a sense of physicality of the mountain. And the weather that's visiting it right now. Might be a lot of wind rushing around the mountain, howling down through the crevices and ravines, whistling, causing a lot of movement of trees on the lower slopes, grasses, animals sheltering, crows and other birds being tossed around in the sky. Or it might be very peaceful, very quiet and still. Just sensing into what you most relate to right now in your internal weather. season is it on your mountain? Spring, summer, autumn, or winter? And also linking into the different elements of the mountain. So there's the earthiness of the mountain, the rocks, the soil, the trees and other vegetation that grows on the mountain. This element of solidity. This we can perhaps find in our own experience too. And then there's the water element on the mountain, the rains and storms that lash down or trickle down, and then the streams, waterfalls, rivers of the water finding its way down the mountain into the valleys beneath. So there is that fluidity in us too, of movement. Flexibility. Even perhaps inspiration. The water inside the mountain as well. Unseen streams and waterfalls. And then the fire element of the mountain. The sun rising, setting on the mountain, baking, and warming the rock. And then the air element. The wind, the spaces within the mountain, the caves, potholes, tunnels. We have our breath. So just now, for the last few moments of the practice, perhaps when you're ready, letting the image of the mountain gradually dissolve, subside, and just sitting with a sense whatever sense you might have right now. You might not feel very mountain-like right now. You might feel all over the place in your thoughts and feelings. That's okay. Sometimes can be like that in the stormier kinds of moments of the mountain. So just sitting with whatever is here right now. Breath, body, feelings, emotions and thoughts. Allowing it to all move through. If we can. Just sitting with the breath. And the body. And our lives in this moment. I'd like to actually read a poem to finish this session. It's called Paradox by Gunilla Norris. It is a paradox that we encounter so much internal noise when we first try to sit in silence. It is a paradox that experiencing pain releases pain. It is a paradox that keeping still can lead us so fully into life and being. Our minds do not like paradoxes. We want things to be clear so that we can maintain our illusions of safety. Certainty breeds tremendous smugness. We each possess a deeper level of being, however, which loves paradox. It knows that summer is already growing like a seed in the depth of winter. It knows that the moment we are born, we begin to die. It knows that all of life shimmers in shades of becoming. The shadow and light are always together, the visible mingled with the invisible. When we sit in silence, we are profoundly active. Keeping silent, we can hear the roar of existence. Through our willingness to be the one we are, we become one with everything. So, those words may or may not have some resonance for you, but I thought they kind of partly at least reflected the practice we've done tonight. So that's it for this week's live stream. So go well and go easily into your into the rest of your evening and the rest of the week. And I hope to do a practice next week. I may actually change the night of the live stream to Tuesdays. I'm considering doing that. Just because it can sometimes be a little bit pressured on a Monday getting to do the live stream. But I'll let you know what's happening, and look forward to seeing you soon. Good night.